G'day guys, Aaron here from Shooting Stuff Australia, and I'm joined once again by Jason from the Australian Hunting Podcast. And today we have a very important topic that's happened over the last few days. But before that, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, sign up to our Facebook pages. We can find us on Patreon and all the normal social networking stuff for both of us. All the links are in the description down below. But one of the most important things, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. I've got to get my numbers up. I finally broke 4,000 subscribers this week. So I'm slowly clawing back what I had before YouTube took me down. So how's your week been, Jason?
Not bad, man. What's been going on? It's been an interesting week, hasn't it? So lots going on, mate. Lots going on.
Yeah, a lot of heartache too with people. I haven't worked for 2 weeks now. I've got no work on whatsoever. I've got a small plastering business here in Brisbane, and it's absolutely dead. No work's coming in, nothing. So I've got no income whatsoever. And you're working from home now?
Yeah, working from home, trying to earn a crust while I think I'm pretty lucky. So I think some of us are pretty lucky, and a lot of people don't have jobs. So it's pretty sad state of affairs at the moment. Let's hope we can move forward quickly and get people back to work as soon as possible, and get people buying more guns and ammunition.
Yes, and that's the most important thing, I guess.
Yeah, and the comments have been pretty good, haven't they, for this segment that we've been doing, which is absolutely fantastic.
It has been, yeah, a lot of positive feedback on these talking videos. You absolutely love them, which is really good to see, because we enjoyed making these, researching them. So we've done a bit of research on this. So what has happened is started off in WA. They all of a sudden, no warning, closed all gun shops in WA. There was no warning, no consultation, no nothing. It just happened. So basically, don't come to work tomorrow. You've lost your job, for thousands and thousands of workers over in Western Australia. So that was a real kick in the nuts, I guess, to them over there. And then a couple of days later, yesterday afternoon, it happened to Queensland. But I do have to say one thing. Finally, New South Wales has outdone Queensland in something. You're still allowed to have your gun shops open.
For how long is the question, though? I would say we'd probably got until Wednesday, and it will be the same as WA and Queensland, because, New South Wales can't be outdone by WA and Queensland. So, they'll be shut by. And I actually went to one of the gun shops on the weekend, and they only had, I think it was a minimum amount in the store at any one time. Luckily, I went about half an hour before closing time. So they had someone waiting at the door. You had to wait outside. As soon as somebody exited the gun shop, then you're able to, next person in, go see one of the workers, get what you've got, leave, and then the next person can come in. They had, hand sanitizer at the front of the shop, and yeah, it's interesting times, mate. But I'm sure New South Wales won't be far behind.
No, and then the rest will just all fall like dominoes as well. They'll all follow suit. It's what normally happens in these sorts of things in Australia. Funny you should say about the hand sanitizer. Now, I've been inundated with questions overnight. I woke up this morning with masses of emails and messages from all you guys about what and why has happened. So I've been on the phone this morning for hours with 4 people in the industry, gun shop owners, and a couple other people as well. So what I can make out, I am not going to point the finger. There's some things they told me not to repeat on camera yet, but basically what they all said, and these 4 people don't really talk to each other, so this is the same story from all 4 of them. So basically what's happened, a shop wasn't following the social distancing rules. Someone went there and from a government department, and saw a lot of people in the shop all at once and decided, right, that's it. That's our reason to shut these stores. So as we know, it's obviously a targeted approach. They want the stores closed, so that was the catalyst to close them. And my question is, why do they target the gun shops? We all know they don't want us to have these guns for a start, and there's been a lot of panic buying. Was that the reason? I reckon it probably is. What do you think, Jace?
Yeah, I'm looking at one here. This is interesting. So this is we'll talk about WA first.
Yeah.
So this was Mark McGowan. He's the Premier. Now, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to use my phone, guys, to try and look at this, but he basically says gun shops to close as part of further measures in the response. They're to shut at midday on March 27, 2020. This is the most interesting part, he said, too, here. Now, he goes, given the closure of firearms sporting clubs and sporting venues and the need to comply with social distancing, there is effectively no need for over-the-counter sales at gun stores. I'm like, wow. Importantly, we will ensure all farmers and rural landholders continue to have access to ammunition for pest control and animal welfare reasons. Now, that's cool and all that, but I mean, I don't see why it's open for one particular party and not the others, like sporting shooters don't have, you know, a need as well. People say, well, you know, ranges are actually closed at this particular time. But it's interesting. What if I just want to go and buy something? I want to buy a gun. I had a gun on purchase or had it lay-by away and I wanted to go pick it up. I mean, they're effectively saying here there's no need, because they weren't complying, there's no need for you to be purchasing any types of guns or ammunition because rifle ranges are closing. I mean, what if I wanted to get a special or there were some specials on or anything? Just there's no, the gun ranges are closed, no need for you to buy any guns or ammunition. I just think they're scared, mate. I think they don't know what's going to happen with this disease. And basically what's happened is they want to, you know, stop people from going in buying guns, arming themselves. I think that's what they're trying to do, stop people from buying ammunition. Yeah, it's a real sad time ahead and absolutely zero consultation with any of the gun shops. Just up and stopped them. They probably got an email or faxes through. Stop your business, walk off the job. Thousands of people out of work. Gun shops can't pay them. Gun shops are already doing it, you know, tough at the moment. And this is a further kick in the guts.
Yes, exactly. Well, I can say in Queensland, not even weapons licensing was told about this. It just came straight from the police commissioner, the top guy, and bypassed every other level below him. There was no consultation. Not even weapons licensing knew about this. And it just happened, just like that. They're saying there's 22,000 gun shop workers now unemployed overnight, gone. Just the job's gone. And you're looking at the shops, they all have commercial properties. They're talking it's going to be minimum 6 weeks, and it could blow out to 10 weeks. So how are they going to pay? How are they going to pay their rent? None of them, so far I've talked to, know if there's going to get any breaks for paying their rent or anything. They've still got to pay horrendous commercial rents every week as well on all this. So you can't afford to do that for 10 weeks. So say it's $800, $1,000 for a small shop a week. It's 10 grand gone, just like that.
Yeah, I wonder how. I mean, you're dealing with Browns Plains and all that now. You know, now that Queensland's been shut down. I mean, how's the guys at the shop there in Garriott? How are they going to survive over there? I mean, hopefully there's going to be some reprieve from the the people that actually own the premises to, if they've got a loan, to try and go back to their bank to get a hold or a freeze on their loan, so then they don't charge the gun shop. But I mean, that means also too, that person that owns the property too is also not getting paid. So even if they don't have a loan, maybe they're relying on that to pay their mortgage for their property. Maybe they've got a business interest there that they use that money to pay their personal mortgage. So they're going to be in big trouble too. So everyone's in trouble at the moment. Yeah,
it's just one big long endless chain. Well, I talked to Gary this morning, and he's really distressed about having to tell his workers, I've got no work for you for the foreseeable future. And even when this does kick back in again and things start getting back to normal, people aren't going to have money for luxury items. People aren't going to have money. It's like me. My work's dried up in the building industry. People aren't spending money on renovations. After this, people won't have money for renovations either. So it's all fields. We're all living in, a lot of the stuff that we like are luxury items and not survival stuff. We're not in the food industry where you're always going to need food and medicine and stuff like that. But unfortunately, as soon as you go back, it doesn't mean it's going to be good again.
Yeah, I just wonder how long this is going to go on for. I mean, I presume New South Wales will follow suit once they see gun shops around the country, closing or being forced to close by, government and police officials. I mean, it's only a matter of time. And, I've been on the internet again. I've been trying to find out who. I mean, it's taken YouTubers, podcasters like me, you, and other people on the internet to sort of draw attention to this issue. We haven't seen, again, much on it from the organisations. Pro-gun politicians are pretty much non-existent. I went on their pages before we did this video just to check what they're being saying, mate. Absolutely nothing on all these closures. Absolutely Nothing.
No.
Like, I mean, no advocacy trying to get gun shops open as soon as possible within the next couple of weeks. I mean, like I said, how are guys going to survive if it turns into 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months? I mean, people are going to go to business. People are going to lose their homes. Gun shop workers are going to lose their jobs, may lose their premises. They're not bringing any money. So, man,
Exactly.
I don't know what's going to happen, man. We need to kick this thing as soon as possible and get people back to work as soon as possible, man. Like, and that means, I hate to say it, man. I mean, people say, well, it's not about the economy, and the government's only got so much money to pay out, man. I mean, I've got friends that unfortunately have lost their jobs or they've at least lost their job now until the market comes back up. I mean, that could be months. I mean, they're only going to get a certain amount of money. They may lose their homes. They may lose their cars and their investments and stuff like that. So, man, it's sad times ahead. And, obviously this is not affecting other types of business as well. So obviously targeted towards, gun shop owners.
Definitely.
They don't want people in there buying guns. They don't want them buying ammunition. They don't want, tensions heightened by people being able to buy guns. I mean, it doesn't matter about the criminals, though, because they already have the guns. They already have the ammunition. They don't need to go to gun shops to buy anything. And unfortunately, the government and the police aren't doing a single thing about the criminals. All it is attacking law-abiding. We've got to be seen to be doing something.
Yep. And to all these leftards out there that are saying, oh, no, they're not targeting them. Okay, so I went down to get a few bits for my home, because I'm at home, from Bunnings. So guys overseas, you don't know what Bunnings is. It's like a Home Depot. It's our biggest sort of hardware stores. They're pretty big. I went down there to go look for a couple of tools, got down there, walked in the front door, thousands of people, shoulder to shoulder. And this was only on Friday. So this whole social distancing thing was meant to be up and running. But there were thousands of people there. The queues were out the door. The checkout line was down the aisle. People everywhere. I just walked out. I don't want to be amongst all that. Went past JB Hi-Fi, right around the corner from Browns Plains Firearms. People flowing out of there with TV sets. Dozens and dozens of people in there, packed. So how come these shops aren't being closed down? How come gun shops are being targeted? It's a blatant target on gun shops if they're allowing these other businesses to stay open.
I think I saw on your page too when you were saying not far away before New South Wales gets shut down, and people are like, oh, what's your source? Where are you hearing this? Oh, it sounds like crap. It's rubbish. Can't be true. This is all hearsay. I mean, really? I mean, you've just had 2 states shut down their gun shops, and this is all on a Thursday and late Friday. I mean, I'm looking at it now. What was 27th was the Friday for WA, and then Queensland not long after. It's now the weekend. So
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it's the weekend now. We're recording this on the weekend, so they did it on a Friday. So by Monday or Tuesday, will be shut down. I mean, how do you know? Because 2 other states have already shut down. And they will probably follow suit. Just common sense, really. It may not happen, but if I had to pick one, I wouldn't be defending, the government or police not to shut them down. I mean, it's probably almost guaranteed. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Now, another thing, what I was told that lawyers are looking into it. So on the behalf of the firearms industry, there's a couple of sets of lawyers are looking into it to see how legal this is when other shops aren't being opened. But I have been asked not to release who's actually sending those lawyers out. That's the only thing. But as you know, Jace, we both do research before we say these things. Same with on our page. We always research everything. Sometimes these people just don't want to be named. That's why we don't say who we got it from, because they ask us, here's the information, but please just don't name us. Which is fair enough.
Because they don't want to be attacked, or they don't want to be attacked. They don't want to be targeted by the authorities, and neither do we, to be brutally honest. But I mean, we're law-abiding citizens, mate. We should have a right to go and buy firearms, ammunition, and just to say, well, you can't go to a range, therefore you don't need to buy ammunition. Like I said, maybe there were specials on, maybe I had a gun on layaway that I wanted to go and pick up. I mean, it's just stupid to say, well, there's no range, therefore to shut it down. This is the disdain. And I wanted to add this on there too, mate. So someone sent me a message. Now, in New South Wales, when we normally just apply for permits, we just apply like on the government website. We can send them in via mail, but I've been doing them online. So I kept this guy's name secret, but I'm sure with the details, they probably could figure out who it is anyway. So this was to my inbox, the podcast on Facebook. Hi, Jason. I was just chatting to my stepmom. She is a copper and just started working at the Firearms Registry. So this is in New South Wales. She said that in the next few months, they are going to crack down on people getting permits to acquire, PTAs, for firearms of the same category that they already own. She told me to get them in now, while before they change it up, as they are going to reject or severely delay PTAs if people already have numerous Category A and Category B firearms. Cheers, anonymous person. He gave me his name. I know who's sending it through, but I want to sort of keep him, under wraps there. Don't want to give out his details, but I'm sure if they read that, it probably would be not hard to figure out probably who it is. But at the end of the day, we sort of knew this was coming as well. And people on the page going, what's your source? This is not going to happening. I mean, after all that's happened to gun owners probably in the last, say, 2 months, especially more so, now with this virus actually coming out and we're seeing how harsh government and police can really get. I mean, is anyone surprised? I mean, I would believe that 100%. I mean, based on what's been happening, I'm not going to question that guy at all, because what's been happening is we're being shafted and screwed and guns being left to right and center in the last 12 months. I mean, what else is going to happen? How bad can this coronavirus get? What else are they going to do? Now come and start picking up people's firearms because they think they might use them to defend themselves or something? I mean, this is getting really bad, mate. It's really bad.
Well, about that PTA thing here in Queensland, I was talking to a guy who was privy to some information, and he said that Queensland has had the largest amount of PTAs in the last 2 months ever, and the police, weapons licensing, and the government aren't happy about it, and are basically shitting themselves over all this. The amount of guns and PTAs coming through, and they were just looking for an excuse to shut the shops down so legal firearm owners can't go pick up their orders and not get their hands on those guns. And what do you know? They used one shop they used for an example and decided to close their whole lot down. Every other shop. So
I'm not sure why they're trying to put a stop to law-abiding people. If you don't have a license and you go to a gun shop, you can't get a firearm if you don't have a license or you don't have your current PTA. So, I say as good law-abiding people that have got great records, but we don't have any criminal records and things like that. Get in there, buy as many guns as you possibly can, buy as much ammo as you possibly can, stock up on all your associated equipment, primers, powders if you're reloading, projectiles, support the businesses that support you, and, get as much as you possibly can, put in permits after permits. I mean, I think I've only got one on that, just going back to that message. I've only got 2 22s in one caliber. Oh, no, and I got 2 260 Remingtons as well. So, they'll probably be asking me a few more questions later on, why I've got a 7mm Rem mag and a 300. Why do I need some other heavy caliber rifle? So I knew it was going to come, so it's not surprising to me. But like I said to most people, if you get that rejection and legally in law, under the law, you can get one, and you think they're just, blowing a bit of smoke up your bum, so to speak, head to your local NCAT, $30, New South Wales Civil Administrative Tribunal, make an appeal. Under the legislation, there's no reason why I can't have a second one of the same subsequent caliber. Maybe you've got a light sporter barrel. Maybe you've got a heavy varmint barrel. Maybe it's a shorter barrel, maybe for quad use or on the spotlighting use. There's no reason why they should be rejecting them. And unless they change the law, you can still get them. So I say, speak to your lawyer, get your lawyer to send a letter, go to the New South Wales Civil Administrative Tribunal, $35-40 I think it is, to make an application, and at least make them work for it, guys. Because if you just accept what they say, they're just going to keep doing it to people. It's only when you fight them legally that you win.
Well, that's how we got the caliber restrictions taken off here in Queensland. Where if you wanted a 338 Lapua or anything like that, a Shaytac, you couldn't have it. You only could shoot at one range, which is in the middle of Queensland, basically. So it wasn't really convenient for 99.9% of the state to go there. And you couldn't shoot on private property unless it was approved and all this sort of garbage. Well, they keep getting hammered in court. People taking the court to QCAT. No. And in the end, they were just told that the government was told to the police just to give them the caliber that they want, because it isn't law that they can't have this. It's just the police making their own rules up. So, and it said you're spending too much money and you're losing every case. Just knock that crap on the head. So because of people power, we finally got no restrictions on the calibers up to 50 cal. We still can't have 50 cal, but we can have everything underneath it now.
Talking about Bunnings, when we say one thing, there was a guy that I used to know, and the short and curly, this guy was the loveliest guy I've ever met, actually. And I saw him at Bunnings, didn't know the guy from Bar of Soap. He came up to me, recognised him from the show, and obviously YouTube and so forth. And he said when he was at his house, he lives with his dad, his uncle had was in a home for mental health. And so his uncle came back to his house to see his brother, which was his dad, and made a bit of a ruckus on the front lawn. I mean, this guy, again, is the loveliest guy you'd ever meet. His uncle was in a home, had some issues, which is fine. So the police came, they took the guy away, no problems whatsoever. They rocked up a couple of weeks later and suspended his gun license, him and his dad, for no reason whatsoever. It was anyway, so they gave the guns back about 28 days. Obviously, there was no issue whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, they gave him a restriction on his license that said he can't store the firearms at his residence, even though his uncle doesn't even live there. His uncle had been in a home for 4 or 5 or 10 years before that. I'm not sure exactly how long it was. But obviously, he got out of the home. He came back to the family home of his dad. And, but I told him to go see a lawyer, gave him a specific person that I know. The lawyer sent a letter saying, please remove any restrictions based on this, this, and this. Anyway, they got a letter back in about 3-4 weeks saying, the restrictions have been lifted. So, like I said, they're putting these restrictions on they're not even law. They can't even do that. There's no way they can do that. But they did. And so when he goes hunting, he'd have to go down to St. Mary's to the local SSAA to get his guns out, go on his hunting trip, come back to the SSAA, lock them up, and then go home. And he lives about 35 minutes from the gun range. Yep. So that was quickly knocked on their head once he had legal representation.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Also, I'm worried about some people's mental health in this country who have lost their jobs. These people will lose everything. They'll lose their homes. They'll lose their savings. They'll lose absolutely everything. I'm worried about a lot of people who maybe just can't live with that or cope with that. That's a really big concern of mine, all because they don't like guns. That's a big concern to me, because I know what it's like to lose everything. When I had my eye operations, I didn't tell many people this, but I almost lost absolutely everything. I was financially stuffed. I couldn't work for over 6 months. I had to have a few operations and rehabilitation on the eye. Couldn't lift anything. And I was lucky I could carry on with the show because I had a lot of stuff already made, so people didn't know what was going on. But I know what it's like to absolutely have going all right and then just like that lose everything. I lost everything. I've had to start life all over again financially over the last 6 months, and I'm really concerned about people like that. Mentally, it didn't really affect me because I've always just grew up like just got to get on with it. Life gives you shit sometimes, and you just got to soldier on and get on with it. So mentally, it didn't really affect me, but some people may do, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm really concerned about is, so they're closing these gun shops down, right? So you're going to have massive stockpiles of ammunition and firearms unattended all over the countryside. That's not a very smart move by the powers to be, is it?
No, not at all. And, we've had a few comments on the page, saying about, especially around the gel blasters and, the police stuff and like that. We're against all police. And we just want to make it clear to people that, the normal people, the normal police officers that do the right thing, then we don't have a beef with those people at all. I mean, we're not talking about those types of people. If you're not a corrupt police officer or you're not having dealings in corruption, then you're not the people we're talking about. So we sort of want to make that clear to people. We're not against all of them. Whether it's the hierarchy making the decisions, there's no point taking offense to our commentary on police unless you've got something to hide or something to worry about. We're talking about the ones that are doing the wrong things, the ones that are picking on shooters, the ones that get a rise out of picking on shooters, that get off on picking on shooters and, taking shooters down over things like maybe one shotgun shot in the car or, come in your garage and you have a loose 22 round that's fallen on the ground and, police think, they've made a huge sting by picking up and taking the license of someone because a 22 round was on the floor. They're the people that we're talking about. So we want to make that absolutely and abundantly clear to people. If you taking offense to our commentary, then you probably are the people we are talking about because you're either doing something wrong or there'd be no reason for you to take offense if the type of people that we're talking about are the ones that are doing the wrong thing. If you're not doing the wrong thing, you're not the people we're talking about.
Exactly, and got one of those comments this week on the post where this guy got all was up on charges for drugs, this, that, unlicensed. He had a homemade license plate drawn on with a pen, all that crap. Then they threw in gel blaster, and I made a joke about that. And oh Jesus, people were going off. Oh, but leave the police alone; they're doing their job. I'm sorry, but if you got to just throw in gel blaster as like that's the only firearms thing you can have a guy on. Sorry, and make a thing of it. I'm sorry. It's just an absolute joke to me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Not good, but
Yeah.
yeah, man. Anything to finish off?
No, that's about it. I just hope everyone is safe and well. And please take care of your friends and family. It's not hard to give them a call and to look in on them and see how they're going. It's only a phone call. If you've got elderly neighbours or friends, please check on them because they are very vulnerable with this virus. So just be wary, don't be selfish, and give your fellow human beings a bit of a hand.
Yep. Share the video. Let's see if we can get
Yes.
this one up to, what do you reckon? Couple of hundred likes, 300 likes.
Yeah.
You guys are liking the content. A lot of comments coming in. You know, a lot of thumbs up. Very limited, if any, thumbs down, which is great.
Yeah.
Just goes to show people are enjoying the content. Amongst the gun reviews, we do this type of thing. It's really coming and going well.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, definitely keep it up, guys. And we are going to, we keep saying this, but we are going to make some fun talking videos on things. But stuff
Every
like
time
this
we
just
plan
comes
on
up.
it, something else comes out. Gun shop closures, no access to permits to acquire, knocking people back, and then we just can't win. Every time we go to do a video, we need to do an emergency broadcast.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I've got a funny feeling this week we may be making one or two more along these lines. But we will get to the good stuff. We're going to do something we've been requested on reloading, long distance shooting, and just general talk like on scopes and that, and hunting rifles that people want to know. So they're coming, guys. But while there's something like this happening, we just feel we've got to bring it to you. That's all.
Yep.
But yeah, we're going to try our best. And I think I might just slip one of those in coming up very soon. So have a good week, guys. And we will talk to you very soon. And stay safe.